Start doing it recently. Hoovers won't ask to smoke weed with me. If they have any decency, I don't leave the sky at all. Twist till I need Tylenol.
What up? Two Buck Marley. This is Certified Pothead. Smoking dog. One of my evening spliffs. You know we about to do Bird Club. About to take a look at these cannabis conspiracy theories, which I like to call cannabis conspiracy theories. Tonight's theory is about Benjamin Franklin's Kite experiment. Ladies and gentlemen, we've all heard the official version of the story. Benjamin Franklin, stoic scientist, stood bravely in a thunderstorm, kite in hand, proving that lightning is electricity. What if I told you there was more to the tale? Much more. What if Franklin wasn't just sparking revolutions, but sparking something else entirely? Sit back, roll up your imagination, and prepare for the high voltage truth. Benjamin Franklin may not have been chasing scientific breakthroughs that night. He may have been chasing clouds of an entirely different kind. 52. Storm brews over Philadelphia. Franklin stands in the rain, holding a kite made of paper with the key dangling from a string. The textbooks tell us he was proving that lightning is a form of electricity. A noble pursuit, sure, but also a bit dull. Now let's break it down. Why hemp paper? Franklin had printing presses, and regular paper was readily available. Was Frank ahead of his time, using hemp for its durability? Or was he already rolling with the times? Because if there's one thing hemp is famous for, it's not just being paper, it's being nature's rolling tray. Sure, portrayed as a conductor, but maybe, just maybe, it was Franklin's attempt at inventing the first electric lighter. Forget proving the properties of electricity. This man was sparking up like a storm-chasing Bob Marley. Here's a riddle. I am not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but I drown in water. What am I? Now let's dive into Franklin's lesser-known role as an early cannabis enthusiast. Hemp pioneer? Franklin didn't just use hemp, he processed it. He owned a hemp paper mill, crafted what was arguably the 18th century's first rolling material. If hemp paper was good enough for the Declaration of Independence, it was definitely good enough for Franklin's experimental spliffs. A circle of greenery. Franklin rubbed elbows with some high-minded individuals, literally. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, both growers, were his contemporaries. Washington even wrote about separating the male from the female hemp plants. And if that doesn't sound like someone optimizing their grow operation, I don't know what does. Dank diaries. Franklin's journals include cryptic entries like cloudy euphoria and thunderous inspiration. Sure, they might sound poetic, but they also sound like the ramblings of a man who just discovered indica on a rainy day. Think about it. Franklin was all about harnessing natural forces, and what better force to harness than the one that leaves you feeling elevated? Here's a riddle for you. I can flash but have no eyes. I can rumble but have no mouth. I can strike but have no hands. What am I? Franklin's choice of hemp paper to make his kite raises eyebrows for two reasons. First, hemp is famously durable and lightweight, a great material for a kite. But second, hemp is flammable. Was the kite just an experiment in conductivity? Or was it a giant rolling paper designed to catch the spark of the century? Now imagine Franklin out in the storm muttering, "Come on, Zeus, give me the good stuff." That kite wasn't just conducting electricity, it was conducting good vibes. Franklin wasn't merely a scientist, he was a pioneer of getting lit while staying grounded. Let's talk about the key. The official story claims it was there to demonstrate the transfer of electricity. But let's get real, it was a petrol lighter. Franklin didn't want to ignite his joint with a candle like some colonial amateur. He was aiming for nature's bit. Can you picture taking the first puff and exclaiming, "By Jove, it works"? The man wasn't just chasing storms, he was chasing the ultimate natural high. The kite wasn't just an experiment, it was a high-flying apparatus in every sense of the word. And the thunderbolts, that wasn't just electricity coursing through the air, it was Franklin's attempt to spark the very first cloud-to-cloud connection. Forget Wi-Fi, Ben was out there inventing high fly. So why doesn't history remember Franklin as the original cannabis connoisseur? Why is this crucial element of his legacy left blown in the wind? The answer is simple. Cover up. The founding fathers couldn't let the truth slip out. They were crafting a new nation, and they couldn't risk its foundation being associated with, well, higher ideas. So they rebranded Franklin's escapades as scientific genius. Key witnesses, like his son William, hinted at the truth. William reported noting a particular skunky aroma during the experiment, and neighbors claim Franklin was unusually giggly that night, but their accounts have been buried under layers of historical revisionism and cloudy as a smoke itself. Let's not forget Franklin's famous quote, "An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." Sounds like good advice, but also could be a sly endorsement of carefully measured herbal enjoyment. Riddle time. What goes up but never comes down? If Franklin did manage to use lightning strike to ignite his hemp joint, it would have been a sight to behold. Imagine the scene. A bolt of lightning coursing down the string hits the key and lights his carefully rolled masterpiece. Franklin takes a deep drag, looks at the stormy sky and say, "Prometheus, well, you got me." But let's be honest, his experiment probably didn't go as smoothly as planned. There's a reason Franklin later invented the lightning rod. After all, getting a little too close to the raw power of nature probably left him literally shocked. The man was nothing if not resourceful, though. You can't keep a good talker or a good inventor down. Think of today's dab rigs, vaporizers and electric lighters. Are they just modern innovations, or are they attributes? I'm going to stop talking. Or are they tributes to Franklin's original, albeit slightly reckless, genius? He wasn't just sparking electricity, he was sparking a movement. Franklin's experiment wasn't just about lightning, it was about enlightenment. The kind of enlightenment that comes with pushing boundaries, defying expectations, and perhaps getting a little buzzed in the process. If the truth about Franklin's kite experiment ever came to light, very much intended, it would cement his legacy as not just the founding father, but the founding blazer. Get electricity. Franklin may have been the original influencer for cannabis culture, centuries ahead of his time. Maybe we owe more to Franklin than we think. Independence? Sure. Bifocals? Great. What about inspiring generations to think creativity, embrace nature, and occasionally roll punches or the kites? Here's another riddle for you. The more of me you take, the more you leave behind. What am I? Was Benjamin Franklin really just a brave scientist testing the limits of electricity? Or was he chasing something much more profound, like the perfect tote? The evidence is overwhelming. The hemp paper kite, the key with its dual purpose, the cryptic journal entries. Maybe Franklin's greatest invention wasn't the lightning rod or bifocals. It was the vibe of curiosity, breaking the rules, or flying kites in storms, because why not? And let's not forget the timeless wisdom of Franklin's word. In wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is bacteria. Maybe he just let the pour out, cannabis being a spark of creativity. So next time you see a storm brewing, think of Franklin standing there with his kite, his key, and his cannabis-fueled ambition. He wasn't just a man of enlightenment, he was a man of the enlightened. The answers to the riddle: fire, lightning, rain, footsteps. See you on the next one, bruh.